What's up, guys? It's Devin, and welcome back to another Doki Doki Literature Club video. We are back in Lost Ascension. My cheek itches. Oh, jeez. Basically, last time, things happen. At every beginning of one of these DDLC videos, it always happens to me. In the last episode, we did things. I legit don't fucking remember. But let me just take like 3 minutes and just figure out what the fuck happened, because I feel like I need to know, otherwise I'm gonna be completely confused as to what's gonna happen in today's video. So give me one quick second. Alright, so I'm back. Basically what happened was, last episode, Sayori kinda, like, I wanna say locked herself in the bedroom, and as soon as Monika walked in, it was clear to us that Sayori figured out the truth of what happened in main game. And I'm almost certain that this episode, Monika and Sayori are officially going to tell the rest of the Dokis, and hopefully they take it as well as Sayori did, because apparently Sayori's not even mad. But she certainly seemed that way. But I'm very surprised. Where did we leave off last time? Right here. This is very fucking loud, so I'm going to turn this down just a tad bit so I can hear myself, not only think, but also speak. Okay, everyone! I called out loudly as the group downstairs. Wow, I'm off to a great fucking start. I cannot read for the life of me anymore. All looked up at me. Yuri and Natsuki had been reading more of the manga collection they had tumbled over earlier. Yo, what's up? Natsuki grinned as I laughed a bit. Coding club is, what's up, Natsuki? The atmosphere almost immediately changed, their eyes wide with excitement. It's gonna be so much fun, just like yesterday. Sayori bounded from behind me, standing next to the other two, who are still presiding on the couch. That's a big word. I'm sure it will be. Yuri was eyeing me with curiosity, my throat closing up a little. Yes, it will be. Oh, because Monika's very, very nervous to tell them truth. But I feel like they suspect something's wrong anyway, so I don't think it's gonna hit them as hard as Monika thinks. So, who knows? I made my way over to the front of the room, Sayori sitting down next to the others. Today we'll be experimenting with something a little less expendable. I chose my words with the objective in mind as the others watched on. What do you mean? Yesterday we were changing colors, are we gonna change something bigger? Natsuki asked with an intrigued tone as I shook my head in response. Actually, we're still going to be changing colors, but instead of objects, I'm going to teach you how to customize ourselves. The three of them became dead silent as I said this, Yuri being the first to reprise. Ourselves? You mean manipulating our own files? I nodded, Yuri seeming to go deep into thought. I thought that was taboo? I don't even know how to pronounce that. I've never known how to pronounce that, so I just fucked it. It is Yuri, but I did something a little extra with Codebreaker to help assure everyone over things like this. I pulled up the Of course, my face cam's always in the fucking way of the I completely forgot that the consoles are completely in the way. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'll read it out to you if I can. I'm not gonna move my face cam. I've done that last time we had the console pop up, and I just give up trying to freaking fix my face cam every single time. I pull up the console for a moment and attempted to access the other girl's files. Open character Sayori CHR. You do not have permission. Okay, she's just trying to open all their character files. You can see the top. You can kind of see the top. I don't really think I need to read this. Maybe I'll read the little bottom output. Only for it to be denied access for each of them. Huh? You removed the access point? I smiled. Yeah, I felt like it'd be a good idea to establish the lines and give everyone a little more trust in our future. Plus, Codebreaker isn't something I can really control, and that means that he can't access it either. Does that mean me, does that mean, like, me outside the screen can't access anything either? Maybe, I don't know. I put away my console at this point, and I looked at the three of them. Let's try out some color changes again, but instead let's do it on ourselves. The three of them looked into one another before looking at me again. So, does this work just like the objects? I nodded to Yuri's question. She went into deep thought. I have always wanted to see what I would look like with a different eye color. She pulled out her console first, the other two watching her intently. I wonder... Red was that number. Is she making her hair color red by any chance? She put a string of numbers for a brief moment that the world seemed to freeze before suddenly... Oh, no. Yuri! Sayori called out as Yuri looked at the others confused. What? Does it look bad? Oh, her eyes! Oh, I didn't even notice that! Her eyes are red now! That's fucking cool! They don't match! They certainly don't match the purple hair, in my opinion. I think red and purple don't really go well together. But that's still, I mean, the fact that you can change your eye color is amazing. Props to whoever actually edited the eye color, is actually really talented at that. What, does it look bad? Natsuki was staring at her, enamored. No, it looks really good on you, actually. Natsuki smiled as little as Yuri smiled back happily. You think so? I thought maroon was always a pretty color. It's very direct. Natsuki pulled up her console as Yuri said this, her smug smirk as clear as it always has been. I had the perfect color idea. Well, let me guess. More pink? She typed in the string of numbers after the brief moment. What'd you do? Oh, she changed her hair color to blonde. Like a blondish yellow? It looks way more blonde. Oh my. Yuri and I both stare. Isn't that like... And I can't remember what mod it was, but in that mod, like, this is supposed to be like her main color. Like her main hair color. And like, you know how you like... Like these hairs are obviously dyed or whatever. Maybe not Sayori's, I don't know. Yuri and I both stared at the brilliant golden hair of the tsundere. I love how you call her a tsundere. Her smug aura expanding. Oh, surprised? There's plenty of ways to dazzle an audience. She smirked. After all, even I can learn to do things just as quickly as you can, Yuri. Her smug levels are increasing. They're becoming overwhelming. I almost feel like I could... She shook her head. I'm kind of scared of what Sayori's gonna do, because Sayori is very, very clumsy. Man, who am I kidding? Nothing has changed. I'm just trying to be cool. Yuri and I laughed as Natsuki looked down at her own... looked at her own hair. None of us had noticed Sayori fidgeting with her command prompts. Ah, I got it. Bunshine? Sayori hit her enter button. I wonder what she... Guys, I don't feel so good. Oh no. Oh no, what'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? Oh. Oh! You have blue hair now! I was actually always very curious as why she didn't have blue hair to begin with. Like, for some reason, like, Sayori's always, like, been associated with the color blue, like, in, the main game. Like, how, like, Yuri was purple, Natsuki's pink, and Monika's green. Sayori was always, like, a blue kind of background. But, like, her hair didn't match that at all. And same with Monika. Monika had, like, normal color hair and green eyes. And Sayori had, like, kind of normal color hair, like a red hair. And I want to say blue eyes. And like, I felt like if they had their color hair, it would have made a little more sense, but it might not have looked as good, so I guess I can kind of see where that comes from. But she got blue hair now, and I love the white bow tie that comes with it. In 3 quick flashes, her hair, eyes, and bow all changed colors. Whoa! Natsuki seems shocked. How could she be learning so quickly? It's like it's becoming a problem. Like she's just like learning too fast, and Monika can't control her anymore. She just like betrays everybody. Natsuki pouted for a moment. Did I do this right? I nodded as I came over to her, examining her color palette. This is almost like the sky. I like it a lot. I gently poked her bow, her smile obvious. I was thinking about the sky, cause it's the limit, right? Sayori giggled while I can't read, and as I smiled. Yes, it is the limit, Sayori. Wow, I'm doing fucking phenomenal. I looked at the others who were fidgeting while trying to make adjustments. Let's just take a little time to explore with this before we move on. This is a good introduction into the aspect of coding our own files. I felt my inner lecture, Monika, take over. We can further this tomorrow, but for now, let's stay simple like we were before. The girls nodded in agreement as they went back to editing values. Oh, geez. Okay, oh, they're back. Okay, that's what I meant. They're going back to normal. Alright, everyone. Monika said that loudly, startling Sayori and I, bringing an abrupt end to our discussion. Let's go ahead and get into some poem sharing for tonight. I shook my head, trying to understand what was going through her head. Something was seriously bugging her. I watched her. It's obvious. So to Yuri, I guess Yuri could kind of see through her with that. I watched her as she got up to her middle of the room position and whoa, and put a finger up. I cannot read. I don't know why. Let me take a quick sip of water real quick and see if that helps a little bit. Since I went around yesterday, I think someone else should go around today. She looked at each of us and settled her eyes on me, a smile coming across her face. Wait, Monika, you know how She shook her head. This will be a good experience for you, Yuri. And don't worry, tomorrow I plan on picking Natsuki. And her face just went completely scared. Natsuki looked up at her with a look that was a mix between horror and displeasure. Seriously, why not Sayori? Monika smiled in response, because she would enjoy it and it would be good for both of you to try and talk a little more. That is true, Sayori is very, very social. She trailed off as she said it, her eyes showing some form of realization. You know, she's social on her outside anyway. Sorry. She sat down somewhat awkwardly, leaving me to my own devices. I nervously pulled out my poem and decided on who to go to first. Alright, so Yuri, obviously I can't choose. Okay, so it's gonna choose for me. Obviously Sayori's the best. I didn't even think about it, as she would be the easiest to talk to, besides picking Natsuki would be too obvious. And going to Monika right away, well, she's for later. Sayori! I said a bit loudly as I approached her. She looked up at me with surprise. Me first? I thought for sure you'd went for Natsuki first. She smiled at me brightly as I sat down across from her. This is gonna be easy. Well, let me see what you wrote today. She said it happily as I held out my poem for her. She took it gently as if it was the most precious thing she had ever seen. Oh, she said it several times before reading over my poem, her eyes narrowing a little. Wow, and that means... She looked up at me once the pieces clicked together in her mind. Did she realize that maybe they have a thing going together? This is wonderful, Yuri. It's so elegant, so smooth, just like you. She held my poem back to me, out to me, and I took it, smiling to myself. Thank you, Sayori. The other girl smiled happily as she dug out her own poem and held it out for me. Here, I know you're really nervous, so I won't make you ask. I look up at her surprised. She does pay attention. I wonder if she's noticed whatever's off with Monika. Gee, you'd have no idea. I took it from her. Maybe she knows everything. I took it from her and looked down at it, curious to see her writing. Box of chocolates. All of my favorite treats, laid nicely in paper. Bringing all of my sweets is none other than me. My favorite one is coffee flavored. Good person, but it matches perfectly with the rest. All 4 flavors, all balanced in the box. Without one, the rest seem alone. Keep my box safe, and I'll keep what's inside safe. I took in what Sayori wrote and smiled softly to myself. Chocolate? Coffee? I looked up at her. Monika's been quite the influence for you, huh? Sayori smiled sheepishly. Yeah, she's a really good person. Sayori's gaze shifted from me as if she was deep in thought. Are you okay? You two have seen off since, well, whatever happened earlier. Sayori looked back at me and shook her head. We're fine. I think she's a bit nervous about later. I am too, but it'll be fine. She said it seriously as she grabbed her poem back from me. I know it will be. She smiled brightly as I felt my concerns rise. I see. I hope it will be too. I stood up and nodded at her as I walked towards Natsuki, a small frown on my face. I thought you might have wanted to do Monika next because you're still scared about Natsuki. So, you seem a bit miffed. Natsuki said it worriedly as I sat down. I could feel the tension in the room grow ever so slightly as I sighed. Yes, I'm just worried about later. I'm guessing it isn't good. Natsuki sighed. It'll be alright, okay? I looked up at her, a bit surprised. What? Natsuki seemed genuinely concerned. I know you have some tendency to... She left the thought hanging. Please promise you won't get mad. I felt my heart drop a little. I am quick to anger, aren't I? She smiled at me as I felt that sink in. Just please don't, okay? But if you do, we can just run off and take a quick breather, alright? I smiled at her. She pulled out her poem. Here, read this. It'll cheer you up. I picked it up and looked down at it. Baking the perfect cake. 4 colorful ideas, a half teaspoon of pride, 3 cups of joy, 2 shakes of love. Give it proper time, give it proper care, and in no time, it'll give care back. What the fuck? Do you guys hear that? It's just a bunch of I forgot that today's Wednesday. As I'm recording this, today's Wednesday, and on Wednesdays, they go around mowing shit, and you just hear nothing but that. It's like the dumbest shit. Oh, they do these things like usually they like do it like more towards the morning, so it's actually really frustrating whenever they change times. Like there's never any set time for it, and it's so annoying. I couldn't help but giggle as I read it over. So just please bear with me. I hope it's not going to be bothersome. I might have to not compress this audio for my voice just to not hear that as big. But for the most part, hopefully it's not too big of a deal. What is this? A recipe book? Natsuki blushed profusely. It's called the club. It's calling the club a cake, you dummy. She snatched it away from me, my smile widening. I know that, Natsuki. I was just poking fun. She turned away from me, if unfamiliar a familiar coming from her. She put it away. Come on, you know I didn't mean anything bad by it. She looked at me and smiled slightly. I know, I'm just playing along. She smirked as I felt my surprise rise up. I'm sure you did, Natsuki. You've gotten better at that. She laughed with self-satisfaction as she looked at the poem I was holding timidly in my hand. So, you want to let me see that now? I smiled at her. Actually, I was thinking out that I would maybe try reading it to you with you, for practice. Natsuki seemed taken aback for a moment, but she smiled after her initial shock wore off. Sure, let's hear it. I cleared my throat as I held up my poem. I walked deeper into my psyche of my own mind, found into my own, deepest, endless tomb. I find myself before a shelf of you already got that spot, go away! I find myself before a shelf of uneven tomes. I swear, they go over the same fucking spots like 7 times, and it's so annoying. One's colorized and textually sound, now fractured and left in pieces for all to see. I found myself alone in that deep, endless peace, picking up the pieces of what was once a perfect storage. I thought to myself, forever on my own. It was the only way I could live, alone, forgotten, broken, my own lonely worries being queried by a quiet voice that comforts me. It brought me up and helped me bring the shelf back to life. Life once again brought back to perfection. My eyes laid upon the voice now given shape. Its shape? A poem, with a purpose forever unknown. I finished reading and let out the last of my air. I had closed my eyes during the poem, my mind focused. I slowly opened my eyes, realizing that not a word had been said. They're all just stunned. It's like, what the fuck just happened? I look around and saw the other two staring at me. I attempted to stutter out a response, the tension I felt in my chest rising slightly. Monika spoke first. That was beautiful, Yuri. She smiled at me happily. Now I almost feel jealous. She laughed a little, her normal attitude seemingly coming back. Yeah, that was amazing, Yuri. The way you spoke it too was also great. I felt my nerves kick in as I looked over at Natsuki, her eyes wide. Holy crap, Yuri! She shook her head as she smiled to herself. I need to take advice from you, don't I? I laughed a little as the other two girls laughed with us. Sheesh, I almost feel like I need to present openly now. Monika looked down at her poem and stood up. You know what? I will. I'll share too. She cleared her throat and began to read. The beauty of word. Its perfection always to the beholder. Forevermore lost in sense, but not in reality. I survive and thrive on success. A failure? It kills me. I continue to fight, continue to work, so that I can have my final wish. The wish of silence. Silence to worries, silence to anger, an ending where everyone is happy, no matter how fractured it gets. I felt my breath catch itself as Monika spoke. She really knows how to speak. Sayori clapped for Monika as she smiled nervously. The club president's pose shifted as she sat back down. Wow, Monika, I'm just nodding my head for some dumb reason. It's dumb. Well, Monika, poetic as always. Natsuki said it with a clear smirk on her face. So, you want all of us to be happy, huh? Monika smiled. Well, of course I do. It's the best I can do considering everything. Natsuki's smirk shifted into a genuine smile. Yeah, I get that, and we're all thankful. Natsuki looked towards me and smiled. I looked over at Monika, unsure of what to say. That was great, Monika. It really was. Sayori said it loudly. She joined Monika. I let out a sigh. Tonight's gonna be interesting. Hey, scary book lady. I looked over at Natsuki, a bit stunned. You want to read any before dinner tonight? Natsuki! I can't tell if she's enjoying reading manga or not. The club noise was interrupted by a sudden ding from the kitchen, my eyes lighting up. Oh, the soup's done. Sayori looked over. Oh my god, there she is. There's her food face. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling this the food face because every time somebody mentions food, that's the face she makes. Sayori looked over at me, her eyes widening. So that's the yummy smell coming from into the room? I smirked as Yuri laughed a little. Monika still acted somewhat distant instead of being active and upfront like usual. Jeez, what did Sayori say to her? I walked away, the quiet sound of Yuri's footsteps following me close behind, leaving the other two to themselves. She does not look fucking happy. I wonder why. Yuri spoke up first, setting the tone for an uncomfortable talk. Natsuki, have you noticed something with Monika? She seems different. Yuri's tone was mostly concerned, but I noticed a mild sense of anger in her voice. Yeah, do you know of anything about that? You sound a bit... I turned and looked at Yuri, her frown obvious. Mad? She nodded slowly. I think her and Sayori had a chat about before. She's catching on very quickly. Her frown grew even more so as I sighed. Her feelings have taught her well. I haven't really thought about that before now. I mean, shouldn't we be focused on getting rid of him first? Look, I'm sure it'll be okay, Yuri. Sayori doesn't seem angry about it. Yuri's anger seemed to falter as I said that, her frown fading away to nervous confidence. I'm sure you're right, Natsuki. I tilted my head a little bit before to motion her to help me with the dinner table again. The two of us working in tandem. Eventually, the table had been set. The soup and freshly warmed bread were laid out, along with a few other surprises I'd crafted up. They'll never know what hit them. Everyone, sat down in their normal spots. And there's Sayori's. You can't see the eyes. They're not the star eyes, but it's very similar. And it's just her died down a bit food face. Yuri sat next to me and eyed the goodies displayed on the table. I love how it's just displayed, not displayed. Like, displayed is supposed to be the full word, but displayed's like kind of the slang term for it. Whilst Monika and Sayori joined us across the table after a few minutes. Gosh, Natsuki, where did you even find the time to do this stuff? I smiled widely. I don't need much time to make perfection when I'm already that good. Sayori's eyes widened as she noticed one of my surprises wrapped up in foil near her. Is it a cookie? Without hesitation, she started to reach over for it. Hey, don't you touch that, it's for later. Oh my god, Sayori's sad now. She retracted her hand quickly, her pout coming up. Fine, I was just curious. She shrugged, accepting that she'll have to wait. As she started to serve herself, I took notice of Monika again. She had already gotten her food and was poking at it silently. Monika? She looked up at me surprised. Yes, is something wrong? My smile faded a bit. No, I was just gonna let you know that the meal's vegetarian for you and all. She smiled appreciatively before going back to her meal, although she seemed to be barely touching it at all. I glanced over at Yuri to see what she was doing, intensely staring at Monika as she's just like waiting for the conversation to happen. Her gaze was fixated onto Monika. Why do I keep saying fixated? It's fixated onto Monika, her eyes trying to detect anything from her. So, did everything go well for you, Yuri? You seem a bit tense today. Yuri snapped out of it and looked over at Sayori. Yes, it was okay, thankfully. Monika spoke up at the right time. She looked over at Monika, and the club president looked away again. This isn't gonna end well. I didn't get the chance to I didn't get the chance to thank you for that, so thanks. Yuri said it plainly as she played with her spoon in her hands. The silence I picked up after that statement was becoming ever more tense with every passing moment, Okay, the music has stopped. Stagnating air is common foreshadowing to something terrible. Isn't that like a reference to what Yuri says in the main game? Stagnating air is common for or something like foreshadowing that something bad's about to happen or something like that. It's funny how Natsuki said it this time, or thought it anyway. I muttered it to myself, remembering what Yuri had said earlier. Oh, so she did say that. Sayori tried to break the silence as she bit into the bread. This bread is really good. She laughed nervously as Monika finally turned back towards us. Oh, she's not. She's very serious looking now, and so is Yuri, actually. Well, I mean, she's more like she looks more kind of like she's just, whatever. Monika's meal had only been prodded with her fork at this point. Don't talk with your mouth full, okay? It makes you seem childish. Whoa! Whoa! What the fuck? Where the fuck did that come from, Monika? Everyone froze. Sayori looked a bit taken aback as she put her bread down, the air becoming heavy. Guess this is it. Monika saw that she picked up her spoon, gently blowing on the soup before tasting it. This tastes wonderful, Natsuki. Thank you for remembering me again. I nodded as she put it down. I don't fucking get any of this. Why is she like changing moods every fucking 5 seconds? Monika suddenly got into her feet, her gaze switching between the three of us for each for a moment. Okay, I guess it'll be dumb for me to keep pretending it's alright to wait. She cleared her throat. Look, Sayori, she and I, we had a serious talk earlier, and, Sayori was watching her closely now, her eyes brimming with concern. Sayori seemed to have let go of any offense to Monika's previous statement. Well, that's good, but that's still rude as shit. Well, I guess since it happened sooner than I thought, I should just... She was shaking. Shaking? I started to stand up, Monika putting her hand up and motioning for me to sit back down. Before I made the code breaker, the game was played, well, over 100 times by him. God, I played it that much? I'm joking. She swallowed again. During those times, he would sometimes change the game himself, or edit us. She looked at each of us again. But before all of that was the basic game. What we're going through now. She paused again as she looked down at the table, the silence coming over us. And what about the basic game? Yuri spoke up, all of us looking at her. She looked downright angry. Does she remember? She didn't seem sure how to respond, her lips quivering slightly. Monika looked down from her. I hurt you three. I manipulated your files to force you to hurt yourselves. Kill yourselves. It was almost like the room snapped itself back into reality from this void it was in. Hurt? Oh my god, Yuri's so angry. Oh my god, is she gonna kill her? Hurt myself? I felt confused. I never thought of harming myself. It's weakness. And Yuri's just over there angry as shit. At least I thought it was simple enough until I noticed Sayori and Yuri. Sayori seemed solemn. But Yuri? Oh gosh, she looks absolutely furious. Yuri, this is not going so well. Oh no. Yuri said it once she stood up, and she looked incredibly pissed, her hands slamming onto the table. What the actual F is wrong with you, Monika? I could feel something start to crawl back into my head. A rush of memory slowly beginning to wash over me. What burrowed itself into my mind is the scene after Sayori hung herself. What the hell? I looked over at her hand noticeably rubbing her neck as she turned away from us. So, you break us free, and then you can't even tell us the truth? Don't you think that maybe we deserve a little kindness? A bit of honesty? Monika looked down at the table shamefully. I didn't want to cause us to lose focus. I'm sorry. Shut up. Yuri yelled at her, all of us looking at the clearly agitated woman. She never spoke that loudly. I can't believe you would do something like that to us, even more so that you would just deny us the truth. Monika looked up at her. I said I would tell you on Saturday. Yuri clutched her own arm. Oh god. Yeah? Tell us you killed us? That you threw us away for some selfish person you could never be with? She is so angry. She's got that yandere looking. Oh god, this is not okay. Sayori's just over here taking it in, while Monika's like fucking scared to death, and Yuri's just like, I'm gonna kill this bitch. Monika went silent again, her normally cheerful look fading away entirely. I wish you could have at least had the dignity to tell us you... Oh my god! That fucking scared me. Out of nowhere, Yuri had drawn out a knife. Oh god. Sinking it into the center of the table. The wood split with a sickening splintering sound. I shot back, nearly falling out of my chair. Yeah, I shot back too, Yuri, stop. Sayori said it loudly, Yuri's pupils having shrunk. Her gaze was manic, as she was about to go off at any second. This isn't her fault. You would have done the exact same thing. All of us would have. She sounded genuinely afraid. I didn't know what to do as I watched this unfold. I want to know what Natsuki's kind of role is in all this. Like, is she mad? Is she not mad? Why did she have a knife? Great fucking question. Shut up, Sayori. Monika didn't need to wait or tell us some petty lie. Why couldn't she have told us right away, huh? Sayori went silent. She didn't seem to know how to argue at that point. She looked away again. God, I need to go for a walk. Yuri left a knife on the table, the blade burrowed into wood. No, Monika and Sayori seemed to stay quiet. Sayori, if you don't mind, can you dispose of that? I need to go talk to her. I said it quietly, Sayori nodding as she pulled out her command prompt. She didn't even want to go near it. Yeah, seriously, why the frick did she have a knife? I followed Yuri out of the house. She had stopped on the sidewalk. She glanced around for a moment or two before stalking off in a random direction. Yuri, come on. I chased after her, but she didn't seem at all interested in talking to me. Damn it, Yuri! I caught up and grabbed her sleeve in a feeble attempt to stop her. She turned towards me, the most sinister look cast on her face. What do you want, you little twig? Wow, now she's gonna be a freaking... She's just gonna be mean to everybody now? Is that just what's happening? I felt my heart drop. Yuri reeled back when she realized what she said. I let go of her in response. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I looked away from her. I couldn't bring myself to look at her. Natsuki, I finally looked back at her, feeling my tears start to swell up. What the hell, Yuri? You just completely lost your cool back there. I nearly yelled as she shrunk back. I felt my anger rising in my chest. Then you just insulted me? Tell me what the hell happened. I stared back at her. She looked back at me, her eyes falling quickly. Do you remember after Sayori, I nodded as she looked away from me. I fell madly in love with him. Oh, so she does know. I fell madly in love with him, and I killed. I grasped her arm as she froze looking at me. A white hot sense of fear coursed through her eyes. It's okay, I know. I looked down at the ground. Let's just not dwell on it, okay? Monika did some bad things, but Yuri's anger flared back up when I said Monika. Roughly, she shook me off. I'm sorry, Natsuki. I can't forgive her right away. This is too much. I nodded in agreement. I'm not too angry, but that was still wrong and stupid of her. I just want to be at peace now. She sighed audibly as I gently gripped her sleeve again. She looked down at me, a tired expression taking hold of her. Let's go back to the house and have some dinner. Maybe read some manga. I know you don't like it too much and all, but... Yuri seemed surprised, but she smiled. I do like it. It's a different way to see the story after all, with pictures and action. She reached up with a hand and grabbed one of mine, holding it tightly. Thank you for coming out to stop me. I don't know where I was going to go. I smiled, my fingers intertwining with hers as we slowly made our way back home. Great. So, are they going back to the house where Monika's in? Isn't that kind of dangerous? It was quiet for a minute or so before Yuri spoke up. So, I'm curious. I look up at her. She looked at me with a broad smile. Is anime like manga? I smirked. Well, kinda. It's normally just a TV version of the manga. She seemed to go into thought. Do you think there's an anime version of Part Fate Girls? It would be easier to digest. I laughed a little at her accidental pun. Well, I'm sure there is. We approached the house. I took note that Sayori's bedroom light was on. That would be nice instead of reading it. Not that I hate the manga, but I really don't think I can handle reading right now. Well, that's a first coming from her. I nodded in silence as we got to the door. She stopped moving. And, I think wet pasta is just the first step to making a good meal. I looked at her in confusion. You have to add sauce for it to be sweet. I realized that what she was referring to, my face becoming flushed. Yuri, you suck. I hope you know that. She giggles. We went inside the house. And it's Sayori's point of view. Sayori. Yes, Monika? Is it alright if we were something more? Like, best friends? That went right over her head. That went way over her head. That went wicked over her head. I don't know how the hell she didn't understand what she was talking about. I keep getting fucking emails. It's so annoying. I woke up out of my dream as Monika's alarm went off. She sleepily turned it off before she laid back down. I looked over at her. She and I had pretty much went straight to bed after last night. Shut up! Oh god, I shuddered. The raw anger of Yuri's voice jolted me straight out of my slow awakening. Is Monika and Yuri just down there arguing? Sayori, my thoughts maybe it was just like a nightmare. My thoughts turned to Monika as she spoke up from the other side of the bed. She really hates me, doesn't she? She stated it like it was a fact to her, like there was no doubt in her mind about it. I did my best to give her a patient smile. Monika, you remember what I said last night. She just needs a little time to think everything through is all. She grumbled as she held Mr. Cow closer. Right? She's just gonna forget all of this. I sat up and put my hand on her head. Look, you can't just let these thoughts make you doubt everything. We've done so much together, Monika. She turned and looked at me. For once, a genuine look of fear took hold of her. Monika? I did my best effort to push my own worry-ridden thoughts aside, but I succeeded with less than a smile on my face. I hope nothing bad happens today. I smiled sadly. I hope so too, Monika. The two of us sat in silence, my hand still on her head. Alright, Sayori, let's go. We don't need them thinking we're up to anything funny. I smiled as she sat up, stretching herself out a bit. Yeah, we aren't up to anything. Monika rolled her eyes as she got out of bed and walked out of my room with her clothing in hand. Gosh darn it. I mulled to myself as I stood up, flashes of yesterday and the knife stabbing into the table invading my thoughts. Why'd you have to do that, Yuri? Why? I got my pajamas off and put on my school clothes. I looked over at the mirror in my room, looking at myself. Gosh, I look tired. I reached up and pulled down on my cheek, staring at my own reflection. A soft knock interrupted my thinking as Monika entered, giving me a warm grin. Sayori, let's head downstairs, okay? She rubbed her shoulder awkwardly, her gaze unable to meet mine. I really don't want to face them alone. I smiled at her and nodded, my wordless confirmation seeming to fill her with resolve. The two of us had then descended the steps together, prepared to face the morning woes. When we reached the kitchen, however, it was absent of its usual morning inhabitants. Instead of the waft of breakfast hitting my nose, there was only a stagnant, quiet air about the room. I looked around, confused. Where are they? Monika seemed confused as well until she looked over at the living room. They're still on the couch sleeping. Monika seemed to go into deep thought at that moment. I have an idea. Can you help me out, please? I looked at Monika a bit confused until she gestured towards the fridge. I want to do something for them, and it seems like a good way to try and rebuild the bridges, I guess, even if it doesn't fix anything. I nodded in agreement. Even though you feel afraid, you're still trying to fix it. That's going to look really good. The two of us went around the kitchen, getting out the ingredients and dishes to prepare Monika's idea. Is it Yuri? Or no, it's still... Okay. I mean, they're awake now, but... After a few minutes of our cooking, a quiet yawn and some stuffling from the couch caught my attention. Frick! I forgot to set the alarm last night. Natsuki was stretching out as she looked over at the kitchen, her eyes widening in surprise. Whoa, hold the fun. Are my eyes deceiving me? Or are the two lazy presidents making breakfast? Monika laughed a little as Natsuki hopped off the couch. Yuri raised her head and looked back at me. She smiled until she noticed Monika, and her happy gaze slipped into one that wasn't hard to read. The glare Yuri gave off in her direction was pretty obvious. I guess she's still a bit mad. Well, good morning, you two. I hope you enjoyed sleeping in. Monika said it cheerfully as she moved a bit to the side. She was revealing the griddle of pancakes she was making. Whoa now, Monika, don't get all pushy. Natsuki grinned as she came over to us, overseeing the whole process. Wow. She seemed a bit impressed, her smile going away. Well, I guess I'll take my time getting dressed then. She turned and walking off, a bit of a skip to her step. Pancakes. Yuri said it quietly. She watched us, having finally moved off to the couch. Her sour expression shifted into something else less easy for me to read. Yeah-huh? I said it proudly as Monika flipped them over to cook the other side. They're homemade. Monika giggled. From the box, yes. I looked over at her. Come on, they'll think it's better if it's homemade. Monika laughed again as she got the first batch and moved over to the plate to stay warm. Yuri had come over to the pair of us, looking over our shoulders. Monika visibly tensed up, awaiting Yuri's response. Thank you. She said it bluntly before she walked off, presumably to follow Natsuki. Monika shook her head. See, I told you she wouldn't be so mad. She looked at me. I think she's pretty angry, Sayori, but because you're here, she won't be so obvious about it. I looked at her confused, but she spoke her mind openly yesterday. Monika looked back at the griddle, getting the second batch ready. Spur of the moment. After a moment to process that, I could feel my heart sink a little. She's probably right. I looked down at my feet for a moment before getting the butter and syrup out. Let me tell you, I'm starving. Natsuki's voice rang out as she rounded the corner, fully dressed and smiling. Yuri trailed close behind her as the two of them sat down next to one another. Agreed. This will be a nice way to start today. Yuri said it, a twinge of happiness audible in her tone. I hope you all enjoy these. I personally love pancakes. Monika said it in a hushed tone as she placed the large plate down in the center of the table. She said plate now, being layered with a bunch of pancakes. The three of us stared at them hungrily as we all stacked them onto our own respective plates. These smell and look wonderful, Monika. Natsuki piled her plate high, which practically reached up to her chin. Are you sure you can handle all of those, Natsuki? Yuri said it with a smirk as Natsuki looked at her. Of course I can eat all of these. She spoke with utmost confidence. Yet when she looked back at the pile, a look of regret flashed in her eyes. Plus, any she doesn't eat, I will. I said it happily as Natsuki pouted. You just want an excuse to eat more, you little food thief. I pouted back, the two of us sharing a look before we smiled. What the heck, you're right, you'll eat what I don't. Monika finally spoke up. Whatever is left we can save for later. I made enough so that we can all have our fill. We began to dig in at that point. I didn't know you were such a good cook, Monika. Yuri said it quietly, an uneasy tension filling the room. Yeah, it was a hobby I picked up because of Natsuki's baking is all. Yuri looked up at her. Natsuki inspired you to cook. Monika smiled awkwardly. Well, yes. Yuri looked back down at her breakfast, a small smile crossing her lips. That's nice. She took a bite out of a pancake as she chewed away. The tension eased quite a bit as the morning settled to a much more somber mood. Interesting. Alright, let's go everyone. The last of the morning activity was interrupted by Monika calling out from the door. A hint of urgency was undercutting her positive tone. I really don't want to waste too much time, sorry. She trailed off as I walked towards the front door. I didn't think you'd be that freaked out because of me, but I suppose it shows how you really are. I felt my frown appear as Monika looked away from me, the other two joining us at the door. Sorry, Monika, your big breakfast took a little more time to clean up. Monika smiled to herself as she opened the door. The four of us stepped outside and we made our way to the street. I have to say, Monika, of all the things you would pick up from us, cooking was not what I expected. I said it quietly as Monika glanced back at me. Well, I felt that it would make sense, plus I already got piano down for the most part. Piano? She stayed rather solemn as we walked, and Natsuki perked up slightly. Well, I'm kind of happy that for someone else. I'm kind of happy that someone else took up my interest in cooking, I guess. Natsuki looked back at me. I didn't really bother smiling and shrugged at her instead. Well, I'm interested too. I'm just not that good at it. Sayori said that with a doubtful pout. You can become good with practice, like piano. Monika said it softly, our journey towards the school beginning to feel longer and longer. I really just want to read. So, I'm supposed to leave, right? That quiet remainder of the day. Oh yeah, it's right, because on Friday, Sayori doesn't feel well, quote-unquote, and goes home early before the club day is over. So, I guess that's what she's referring to. That quiet remainder of the day's events that came up. Well, yes, Sayori, in the normal routine, you're supposed to leave after MC talks to you during the poetry club. She said it with a gentle tone as Sayori looked down at her feet. I really don't want to leave. Monika looked at her worried. I'm sorry, Sayori, but I really am, but you don't have any other choice. I watched as Sayori looked away from her for a moment and I noticed the look on her face. That's genuine pain. Okay, I'll, go home, I guess. Monika looked away from her as Natsuki suddenly popped in. How about you go up to the roof instead? You could really get inspiration from for your poetry there. Sayori looked at her, Monika doing the same. That's actually a really good idea, Natsuki. Sayori smiled widely as Natsuki smirked. Of course it is, I always have great ideas. I giggled a little bit. Sayori looked back at me, giving me a genuine smile. I felt something lift a little inside of me. Maybe things won't be too bad today with everyone else around. It's gonna be kinda lonely though. Sayori faced forward once again. Monika looking over at her. It'll be alright, Sayori, I promise. Monika said it in a hushed tone, my lifted feeling dropping once again. Sayori really does keep us together. I swallowed my pride and caught up with everyone, trying to avoid too much attention. And if we are in the hallway, we're not in the hallway. We reached the school grounds, my thoughts still mixed up a bit from the evening and morning events. Yuri seemed kind of happy, I guess. How about this? The first BG that's in the school will end there. I glanced over at her. She didn't seem so mad, but there was still a certain anger, resentment. I sighed to myself, giving up on trying to discern how she felt for the moment. And that's it. That's what we're gonna save it here because we did make it to the school, and we're about to make our way into Friday, and that's gonna be very interesting to see how that plays out because it's gonna go Friday. We're probably gonna have that after school club sharing poem thing again. Probably also more coding learning and stuff, and then it's the weekend. And then after the weekend, I don't know what's going to happen on Monday, because on Monday kind of doesn't happen. But I am going to leave it here. I'm actually really, really enjoying this very, very much. For a while, like the first few episodes, things were going by a lot slower than it should. But like it's starting to really, really pick up towards the end, and I have no idea how much longer this mod is, but it's definitely on the longer side, which is why these have been like 45 to an hour long videos, because if I just did like 20-30 minute videos, this series would be long as crap. So that's why these are a little bit longer than the normal series that I usually do. But for now, I am going to leave it here. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. I'd love to this channel. Guys, I got a Discord. Come check me out outside of YouTube. It's a fun time for all. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making. I hope you guys in my next one. Goodbye.
Listen.